Hi guys, I'm Mrs. Anderson and I teach English 1. Today we're going to be taking a look at Sonnet 18 by William Shakespeare. William Shakespeare numbered his sonnets in the order that he had written them, so this is the 18th sonnet that he had written. In order for us to keep them straight though, we tend to title them based off the first line of the poem itself. So if you look at this, Sonnet 18 is oftentimes called Shall I Compare Thee to a Summer's Day? I'd like you to take some notes as we begin our understanding of this poem. I apologize for my little squiggly line there. I am annotating this with Cami, but you can do this with any document that you are familiar with. If you want to use Adobe or if you want to utilize something in Schoology or Cami or anything, you can go ahead and use that. But Shakespeare's sonnets are considered sonnets when they are composed of 14 lines. They have 3 quatrains, a rhyming couplet, and a rhyme scheme of A, B, A, B, C, D, C, D, E, F, E, F, G, G. So when we are looking at the couplets, the couplet at the end is a couple of lines that rhyme at the end. So you can see that we have C and thee, and that is going to be your GG. When we are talking about 3 quatrains, we're talking about gathering 4 lines 3 times within the poem. So you can see that way. And so we're kind of just annotating so that we can see what that looks like. And when we are talking about the A, B, A, B, C, D, C, D, E, F, E, F, G, G rhyme scheme, we're looking at the last word of each line, and we're saying that day and may rhyme with each other. Temperate and date rhymed with each other. And Shakespeare does take some creative license with his rhymes, so that the pronunciation can kind of go along and maintain that rhyme scheme that he has. But if you can go through your document and label as well, you can kind of follow the same way that I'm doing things. We always put our rhyme scheme at the end of the line, and we change the letter each time there is a new rhyme scheme. And when it is the same rhyme at the end, like you see with the couplets down here, C and D, then we have the same letters. So A rhymes with A, B rhymes with B, C rhymes with C, D with D, and so on. So now we're going to read our poem just to go through the poem the first time, just to understand the rhyme scheme, to hear how it is supposed to be read, to gather some additional information, just to see what it's all about. With poetry, you always want to read it 1, 2, 3 times. The first time, again, is just to get the general beat of the poem, and then additional times so that you can further analyze the poem and make meaning out of it. Sonnet 18. Shall I compare thee to a summer's day? Thou art more lovely and more temperate. Rough winds do shake the darling buds of May, and summer's lease hath all too short a date. Sometime too hot the eye of heaven shines, and often is his gold complexion dimmed, and every fair from fair sometimes declines, by chance or nature's changing course untrimmed. But thy eternal summer shall not fade, nor lose possession of that fair thou owest, nor shall death brag thou wanderest in his shade, when in eternal line to time thou growest. So long as men can breathe or eyes can see, so long lives this, and this gives life to thee. So in poetry, we talk about a speaker as someone who is reading the poem, writing the poem. We never want to assume the speaker is the author. So in this case, we have someone who is speaking to a lover. And you want to add your notes as we go through. So the audience is the speaker's lover, somebody who is significant to the speaker. When we're making a comparison without using like or as, that comparison is called a metaphor. So the comparison being made here is the love to a summer's day. Now, we often think about a summer's day as being a beautiful kind of day. Bright, shiny. Most of us look forward to summer, so we're happy. So when we're talking about a summer's day and he's comparing his love to that summer's day, then we can assume that he is very happy with his lover. But we also want to take a look at the ideas that he's presenting here. Thou art more lovely and more temperate. So even with comparing the summer's day, he's saying that the lover is better than the summer's day, because in the summer's day, rough winds do shake the darling buds of May, and summer's lease have all too short a date. So summer is too short. His love for this individual is greater than just the short months of summer. So it's longer and greater than summer. Okay, so the love is better. Sometimes too hot the eye of heaven shines. The eye of heaven is going to be the sun. So when we're talking about the eye of heaven, we're talking about the sun. So sometimes the sun is too hot, and sometimes the complexion of the sun gets cloudy. It becomes dimmed. But he's saying that his lover is not that way. His lover is not too bright. He's not too obnoxious. He is not too cloudy. He doesn't fair weather and unfair accounts. And then you have this line here that says, but thy eternal summer shall not fade. So all the beauty that is the lover, everything that this lover has to offer, will never fade. So even though the sun rises and falls and sets, and even though there are cloudy days and rainy days, his lover will never fade in the love and beauty that they have. So the other thing that comes up throughout this poem is this idea of death, because everything has an end. So when we're looking at death, he's saying that none of these comparisons are good enough, because they all end. And his love for this significant other does not end. So then it says, so long as men can breathe or eyes can see, so long lives this, and this gives life to thee. So with this section here, he is saying that as long as there are people who can breathe and share this poem, or as long as there are people who can see the words on the paper, okay? So as long as people can breathe and pass the poem along throughout history, or as long as people can take the time to read this poem, so long lives the poem. So the poem is this, and this, the poem, gives life to thee. So when we think about our loves and we think about our memories with individuals, oftentimes those things die with us, the people who love the individual and who have those memories. But in this case, Shakespeare has written this sonnet, and our speaker says that The love that the speaker has for the significant other will always live on because it is now documented in writing that will be shared. And if we think about the beginning of our perception unit, we learned that oral writing, oral tradition, was the very first type of writing. So in remembering that oral tradition started the way that we handed down stories and poems and we had rhyme schemes, it makes sense that Shakespeare employed these same ideas to carry on the significant information regarding his speaker and their love, to keep the love alive forever. Please make sure you go through and update your poem, annotate and analyze based on the same annotations that I did here. If you need more time to go over it, again, go back to the beginning of this recording and listen to it again. Work with your partners and in your small groups to complete this, and when the assignment is finished, please hit the submit button in Schoology for a grade. Thanks.